welcome back in to Salt Lake Community College's Community Roundtable. I'm Rick Blaine, I'm your host, and today, well, I've been joined by some of the best here in the city of Taylorsville. Chris Cooley from Leatherby's Ice Cream and Restaurant, and of course Rand Coons from Great Harvest Bread, and the Honorable Mayor, Russ Wall, from the city of Taylorsville. And Russ, as we went out to break before, I talked about $10 million being put on the table to entice other businesses in. Well, before we ask them what they think about competition, what is it that the city really needs to use that money for?
Well, the city has some deficiencies in some businesses. First of all, we're about $12 million short in annual sales and restaurant sales in the area, and these two gentlemen have restaurants. But believe it or not, we have a hole there that we could fill with some good restaurants. We also have a need for a home improvement center, and then grocery store, general merchandise store on our west end of our city would certainly be a good fit for that area.
And of course, when you talk about those types of needs for a city, those are all driven by databases that are created through demographics, population base, and of course the earning potential and the actual earning income of the residents of the city and the surrounding communities, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, our demographics in Taylorsville are through the roof. We have more expendable income than any city in the valley, save Salt Lake City. But we have middle class families here who have expendable income. We have a lot of empty nesters here, and we have a senior population that has some money to spend. We're just looking for businesses to come in and utilize that spendable income.
And when you're talking about the vibrancy of a city and being able to provide services for the residents of that area, you have to go out and solicit the businesses. Some do come your way, but you have to go out throughout the nation, if you will, and try to bring those businesses in.
Yeah, we do, Rick, and we go down to the International Shopping Center convention every year in Las Vegas, and that is it's the second largest convention that's held in Las Vegas, and they have some pretty large ones. And we go down there and we talk to businesses, mostly national chains and other businesses, and we look for them to come in our community. And it's helpful to have the demographics that we do. It's very helpful to have successful businesses already in our city, so that they know that there's the potential for those businesses to come in. So yeah, we do go out and we fish for businesses.
But when we're talking about the $10 million, in all seriousness, that's money that's really used to help offset things like infrastructure and things that the general public's not going to see, but that definitely would hit the bottom line of a business if they were to relocate to the city of Taylorsville.
Yeah, it's typically used in a redevelopment area, an area that may need some infrastructure improvement. We have a place on 5400 South by Bangor Highway that needs an intersection and a traffic signal there. So the $10 million will basically go into the infrastructure that will stay with the community. It's a community enhancement, similar to what we did on Redwood Road.
Well, Chris, Rand, you've heard that. I mean, you guys are already here. You already have your businesses. What about a $12 million revenue deficit in restaurants? Does that help your business or does it hurt your business? Chris?
Sure. We have a unique relationship with other restaurants and businesses in the area. We actually find that we thrive with other restaurants there, just because we'll give example of Cafe Rio being next door to us. We find that often people will go there for lunch or for dinner, and then we still see their business as well as they come to us for desserts afterwards.
Yes, I have.
So we definitely welcome other businesses in the area.
Rand, how about you?
Absolutely, we share that with with all the gusto there is. I mean, for years we were partnered right next to Einstein's Bagels, back when it was Brackman Brothers. So people would come and they'd get their bread and they'd go over and get their bagels. So it's a pretty simple, I mean, you can live your life in that space of scarcity and I'm the only one, but the truth is that just keeps you up at night. So what you do is you find ways to be an integral part of the community rather than being afraid of what might be out there.
Well, Mary, you talked about maybe the need for a general sales type store, maybe, to use a brand name, maybe a Target or something along those lines, but also the deficit in automotive within the city. And what other categories that the home improvement area? I think you mentioned.
Home improvement. There's a big hole. When they do demographics, they take and measure the need for a facility. What kind of money's being spent in that particular type of product, and home improvement center would do very well in Taylorsville. We had one 12 years ago or probably not longer now, and they were successful. It was a national chain, and the national chain had trouble. So we do have need for home improvement center. A store like a Target would be a good fit in our community also.
Well, just as both Leatherby's and Great Harvest have experienced, really the roads and the infrastructure that have been improved in the city, all throughout the city, I would think would bring that type of business back, because with the major north-south thoroughfare of Redwood, with the major east-west thoroughfare of 5400 South and others, I would think that the traffic patterns would allow themselves to, would afford a business to be successful.
Well, that's been one of our big issues, Rick, has been transportation. We have the busiest intersection in the state at 5400 South and Redwood Road. The problem that we've had in the past is that it is so busy that people don't want to get out of traffic line to stop and shop and eat. So they'll just stay in the line and go home. It's become a pass-through community. With the transportation improvements we're doing, it allows the traffic to flow through better. It flows at a better speed. People feel a little bit more comfortable getting out of line and then getting back into the traffic flow. So we're very excited about the traffic improvements that have happened. Not are they more efficient, but they're also safer.
Well, Rand, you're a recipient of that, because before the 6200 South the 6200 South and Redwood Road interchange, I can remember if I were traveling south, I would see people backed up long past your store at about 6300 South.
Well, I think it's still a struggle, you know, to get off somewhere around 8 o'clock in the morning to pull into our parking lot if you're traveling north. But the other parts of the times of the day, it's much easier, and you know, short of, you know, not being used to those new traffic lanes. Boy, when it first started, it was a struggle, you know, because people were trying to figure out how to do it. But you know, now we're seeing traffic really coming in and out in a much easier way.
Yeah, and 5400 South. The interesting part, Chris, is that all the work that's been done, not only at the corner of 5400 South and Redwood, but along 5400 South as you go west. It's interesting that your business not only thrived, but increased during that construction.
Yeah, during the construction we were a little bit nervous of a downturn, but we actually saw the opposite. We did see an increase of sales, and it's been great for us. And it was actually those traffic patterns is why we originally chose to open our store where we did 27 years ago. It was the same back then. There's just a large traffic count, and we did our homework, and it was that exposure as to why we went there.
Well, both of you have vibrant businesses. It's a great partnership between the city and the local business to make things happen. After this break, when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the other areas of the city. To talk about RDAs, some of the areas that, well, could still use some improvement in the city, but also talk about just how livable that Taylorsville is. I'm a resident. I love it. We'll talk about that when we come back. It is the Community Roundtable right here on SLCC TV.